In this lab, we will be seeing on how do you actually register for Visual Studio app services, which is going to be your mobile DevOps. So how do you actually register to the App Center? So we can say Visual Studio App Center, and then we can click on this first link which is coming over here. This is going to be your Visual Studio App Center. Okay, and when you click on this get started for free, like how you actually registered it for your Azure DevOps, just try to create a new account. You can either create it with GitHub, or you can create it with Google or your Microsoft account. So if you remember last time we actually created our Microsoft or Outlook account, so with that also you can create your new account. But when you click on this Microsoft account, it asks you like what is the account that you wanted. So I'm just clicking on this particular option, and then it is saying this is going to be your username. Fine, I'm just choosing my username, and this is how you will be logging into the Visual Studio App Center. So now you have an option of actually creating a new organization and new project. App is nothing but your project, so which is similar to your Azure DevOps. So this is going to be your new organization, and you have your new project creation as well. So here also you can create a new organization and a new project. So I'm just clicking an organization as Subu DevOps Demo 2020. I'm just making this as an organization, if you see here, and then I'm just adding a new project. I'm just making it as this new project, and I'm just typing release type. So there are multiple, since it is for the mobile, you have multiple options like alpha, beta, enterprise, production, store. So I'm just choosing it as beta mode, and I can choose whatever OS I want. So I'm just choosing it as iOS, and then I'm just using a language called as Objective-C or Swift or Xamarin or whatever languages that you are going to use. And just I'm clicking on add a new app. So now what happened, I'm just getting an option to get started. Like if you remember, when you create a new repository in Azure DevOps, you have an option of actually adding the files from the local, or you can import it from your other repositories as well. Similarly, it is actually giving you an option to install these things on your CocoaPads. CocoaPads is nothing but your language that is used to build your iOS, and then you can do a pod in it, and then you can go to the App Center, and then you can do a pod install, and you have to open this particular workspace, and then you have to add these particular options as an SDK. So this is just for your developers if they are interested to use Shift, or if they are interested to use Objective-C. Okay, and now once after everything is done, you have an option of build over here. So this is nothing but your pipeline. So I can just connect my favorite repository so that I can build my app. So here in this case, I have an option to choose a repository. If you already have an iOS repository, you can choose it from GitHub, or if you already have it in Bitbucket, you can choose it, or if you have it in Azure DevOps, you can choose it. So for demo purposes, I'm just clicking on Azure DevOps. Okay, and it gives you an option to accept it. So it is we are just going to give a permission to connect from App Center to Azure DevOps, and it is connecting to your Azure DevOps. And then here you see in our Azure DevOps we have only one project, which is DevOps Demo 1, and this is going to be our project, which is DevOps Demo 1. So I'm just clicking on that particular project, and under that you have two repositories. So this is a repository that we have imported it from GitHub. So I'm just choosing this for example. Okay, anyways, this is not your iOS project, or this is not your Android project, but I'm just showing you how to link your projects to your particular build. So if you see, I have linked that, and automatically those three branches are coming over here. So these are all the three branches for that particular project. Now I have an option to test here as well. So I can do multiple test runs. And how do you test it? I need a device for it. So I can just start testing with this. It actually gives you 30-day free trial as well. When you have multiple test cases, you can actually include that as part of your 30-day free trial. And then you have a device set. So device set is nothing but how can I test it on a real devices. So I can just give a device set name, and here I can actually choose whatever are the devices that I wanted to test. So if you see, I have a multiple phone devices option. So I'm just choosing this iPhone 11 Pro Max with iOS 13 OS. So I'm just clicking on this, and now what happens, that device is added to my configuration set. So whenever I run the test cases, it runs against this particular device. Okay, and distribute is an option where I can distribute it to the multiple stores. I can distribute it to a beta store, I can distribute to an app store, I can distribute to an enterprise, or whatever things I wanted to do, I can do these options via distribute. Diagnostics is nothing but where actually is your issues coming in. So whether it is a crash or an error or inspect any tracking of issues a user runs into your app, it will be grouped over here. Like suddenly if your app crashes, it will be notified here. And analytics is nothing but how many people are actually using your app, how many people have downloaded it. For iOS 12, how many people have used it. For iOS 13, how many people have used it. So all these events will be collected over here in analytics section. So this is just a overview. In the overview, it will actually show you as a dashboard and everything. Okay, and you have an option of settings where you can go and then use multiple webhooks and email notifications, app tokens, and everything whatever you wanted to do. So this is a basic overview of Visual Studio App Center, and this Visual Studio App Center is mainly used for your mobile development like Android, iOS, and Windows or macOS mobile development. Okay, so if you guys have any doubts, please feel free to reach out. Until then, thank you.